Hey guys, just before we begin, if you have not seen part 1 or 2 yet, make sure to go check those out. The videos will be tagged in this video and will also be in the description below. However, for those watching part 3, I hope you all enjoy. Parallax has come to Oa. Chaos and destruction have ensued. His flight is strong. Gravity around Parallax feels to compress. His attacks are vicious. Whatever the Guardians once did to this entity, the destruction and death is deserved. The great city of the Green Lanterns is suffering.
Fear will cleanse this world and all who follow. The Guardians lie. I will show you true power.
Kal arrives on Oa to assist the other Lanterns against Parallax, but even with Kal, the omnipotence of Parallax makes him practically untouched. Parallax! The Serpent turns to look at Kal in the distance, knocking away multiple Lanterns through buildings in all directions. He slithers his way towards Kal as the two begin their brawl. Pieces of the science cells are crumbling from the battle outside. Multiple Lanterns are doing what they can to shield the facility to keep the building standing.
Ganthet, we don't have the power to fight Parallax. Our rings will do nothing. Only with you and the other Guardians do we have a chance.
Ganthet doesn't have much time to make a decision. He knows that if he releases the other Guardians, Parallax could be defeated. However, Arisia, Kal, himself, and anyone who helped him would suffer major consequences. Releasing them would make his plans for the future obsolete.
I may have another plan, Arisia. No matter what happens to the rest of the facility, ensure the Guardians are kept in their cells.
Ganthet flies out of the science cells and joins Kal in the battle against Parallax. Arisia stays behind and assists the other Lanterns, stabilizing the prison and ignoring the pleas from the trapped Guardians. Ganthet! You're alright! Where are the other Guardians? We need their help.
It's a long story, but it's just me right now. I need your help bringing Parallax to Ion's battery in the middle of the city. Parallax will not enter willingly, so I will have to cloak it with my powers. Once you get close enough, I will reveal it. That way, you can move out of the way and Parallax is the only one who enters.
Smart! Ion may be our best chance. Maybe I should go in as well and help him.
No, the power that will be used in there is enough to kill even me. We must stay away and rely on Ion.
Alright, I'll distract him until you're ready. Ganthet departs for the middle of the city, while Kal handles Parallax.
Do not think I do not see you, Ganthet. They may not have size, but their intentions are large. Do you really think Ganthet can defeat me alone? Their fear led me to my incarceration. They feared the horrors I could commit. They were right to feel so. When will has been dominated, so will the others. Hope, compassion, anger. Even death will fear me.
Kal feels as if he's delayed long enough and leads Parallax to the middle of the city. Ganthet waits for their arrival. From below, Arisia sees Kal racing to the battery with Parallax in pursuit. She so desperately wants to help him, but knows the Guardians cannot be released just yet.
I will rip the will from your mind and replace it with pure torment.
Kal has heard enough. He peels off to the right from his flight path, leaving Ganthet levitating in front of Parallax. Ganthet then flies upwards as fast as he can, unveiling Ion's battery. Parallax, flying at a speed too fast to slow down, flies straight into the battery. Observing, Kal and Ganthet wait to see if anything happens. Massive tremors come from within the battery, smacking against the walls and sending shimmering ripples. One wonders who is winning the battle. Suddenly, Parallax comes flying out of the battery with a piece of his tail ripped off.
Ion will pay! You will all pay!
Parallax's omnipotence has temporarily been diminished. In pain, the entity slams into structures and collapses buildings. Yelling in agony, he begins to freefall towards the science cells. Aricia looks up and sees the massive creature vastly making his approach. Green lanterns start to flee from the area to avoid the impending damage and probable death. Things go from bad to worse. Aricia's ring depletes. She has no power and no battery to recharge.
No. You gotta be kidding me.
Aricia only has seconds to make her decision, to save herself or to protect the Guardians at all costs. Even though Ganthet is correct, the Guardians' ways have to change. They have become morally corrupt in a lot of ways. Nevertheless, death is not the answer. With their survival, perhaps there is a way Ganthet can lead them down a better path. With that idea, no matter how slim, Aricia has decided. Ganthet and Kal from afar watch Parallax fall into the science cells.
No. Aricia.
Kal, frightened for her safety, blasts into action, hoping to reach Aricia before Parallax. Aricia runs towards a control panel, trying to open their cell doors before Parallax lands on the facility, destroying everything. Time seems to move in slow motion for Aricia, with Parallax's body crashing through the glass ceiling of the facility. She closes her eyes and flips a switch, allowing the Guardians to escape the cells. Parallax finally breaks through the building, causing complete destruction. Parallax drags himself along the entire length of the science cells, leaving nothing but rubble. He musters the strength to fly out of the city of Oa and into space.
I will be back. Ion will fall. Willpower will cease to exist.
Aricia opens her eyes. Within the time she closed her eyes to now, she thought she was dead. Kal saved her. Hovering high above the rubble of the science cells and holding Aricia in his arms, she looks up at him and kisses him passionately. As things quiet down, Abinsur, Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tomar Ray finally arrive. Appalled at the sight of Oa and visibly emotional to see the state of the city, they begin to clear rubble from the streets and search for any surviving lanterns. However, that is not the worst of it. As Kal places Aricia back to her feet, they slightly see Ganthet behind a layer of smoke, on his knees, head slouched to his shoulders, and motionless. Approaching him, they see tragedy. All 11 Guardians beneath the rubble in which Parallax's collision caused. They're all dead. They couldn't escape fast enough. Ganthet is the only Guardian left. Some time has passed and Kal has returned to the Fortress of Solitude, this time with a guest. Kal has introduced Aricia to Jor-El. He wanted to show her where he comes from and what his people were like. He also returned to tell his father the outcome of Parallax. The fight he had, the Guardian's death, and the fact that the entity is still out there. Kal is here to seek advice on what he should do next.
This situation is complicated. There's much Ganthet didn't tell me about Parallax. The entity clearly has a vendetta against the Guardians. Ganthet will be in a dark place for some time. However, I'm proud of you. You did what you could, even in a situation that felt hopeless.
I wish there was more I could have done. Oa has suffered. There were many lantern deaths, and Ganthet, he lost the only family he ever had. To make matters worse, we couldn't even stop Parallax. I truly fear what will happen next. He will come back, and I don't think we're...
Kal, the fault is not yours. You, standing here today, proves you can defy odds. When Parallax comes back, you will learn and adapt. It's within the fiber of your being.
With Jor-El's hand on Kal's shoulder, Kal smiles and nods in agreement.
Now go. Aricia and your friends need you. Rebuild the damages of Oa. Be with Ganthet. Offer your support. I will be here whenever you need me.
Thank you, Father. I'll see you soon. Jor-El disappears similar to how a hologram would. Walking away, Kal spots Aricia, sitting at a terminal looking at Kryptonian history. but looking sad and disappointed. Hey, cheer up. Not every Kryptonian is gone, I'm still here. That joke brightens her up a little bit. She reaches over and grabs Kal's hand.
I know. And there's your dad. He's pretty cool too for an AI.
He is. Hey, what's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, come on. I know when something's off. Talk to me.
I just keep thinking about that day. So much went wrong. I wish I paid attention to my battery level. I could have done something to save the Guardians. I know they weren't perfect, but they didn't deserve to die. Ganthet and I conspired against them. We brought others in to assist us, and because of our choice to do so, a lot of the Lanterns who helped us died. The combined effort from Ganthet and the other Guardians could have defeated Parallax. Instead, I kept them locked up like Ganthet wanted. But now I feel like Ganthet may hate me. He would have understood if I let them out. They became my responsibility, and I failed them.
You are being far too hard on yourself. Yes, you helped Ganthet in this plan, but it was his plan. He made these choices. Frankly, it was the only way change could have been achieved. There was no way you could have known Parallax would come here, and when he did. By your logic, the Guardians dying is just as much my fault as it is yours, and Sinestros, and Abin, and Kilowog, and Tomar. We didn't stop Parallax when we should have.
No, Kal, don't say that. Parallax is far too powerful. There's no way his defeat should fall on you or the others.
Precisely. Just as the death of the Guardians is not yours to harbor over yourself. We all make decisions, and those decisions will all, one day, have consequences. The Guardians made theirs. They locked up Parallax and hid the truth from everyone. They decided to become selfish with how they led the Green Lantern Corps. It's not what we wanted, but they face their consequences. Aricia nods in agreement. She knows Kal is right. He doesn't necessarily have much love lost for the Guardians outside of Ganthet, considering they tried to hold him back and even kill him, but it's still not what he wanted for their fate. Although he realizes that this can be used as a much-needed change, and Aricia is seeing that as well. She kisses Kal on the cheek and stands up with him.
We should return to Oa and help the others with the rebuild. I'm supposed to help Kilowog with the defenses in case Parallax comes back.
Speaking of Parallax, I need to talk to Ganthet. We need answers. Returning to Oa, Kal and Aricia fly to the council chambers to speak with Ganthet. However, as Ganthet meditates in the middle of the chambers, Sinestro is interrogating him. Emotions are high.
The Guardians dead, the city destroyed, countless lanterns dead, and Parallax escaped. This is a colossal failure.
We will recover.
Oh, we will? You failed us, Ganthet. You and the other Guardians, hiding the truth. This is your outcome. Such a sorry excuse for leadership.
Test me more, Sinestro. I will strip you of your ring, and then we will see what your power is worth.
Kal and Aricia witness the entire interaction. Ganthet, embarrassed, hovers back down and re-enters his meditation stance. They know Ganthet is in pain, but they also know Sinestro escalated this situation.
Wallow if you wish. These people deserve a competent leader.
Sinestro and Kal exchange glances before Sinestro flies away. They approach Ganthet to make sure he's okay.
Ganthet, are you okay?
Yes, I apologize for what you saw. My actions, they weren't...
Aricia kneels down and gives Ganthet a hug, while Kal places his hand on his shoulder. Tears run down Ganthet's face.
I feel the pain of guilt within you, Aricia. It is misplaced. The fault is mine. I was naive and foolish. I should have never risked their lives with Parallax. My personal ambition got in the way. Ambitions. The exact problems the Guardians had. Perhaps I should have joined that.
Ganthet, no, don't say that.
Absolutely not. You were the only one actively trying to change things. Mistakes were made, but you have the chance to right these wrongs.
So wise.
Ganthet looks at Kal like a proud father.
Tell me, your father, was it what you could have ever imagined?
No. It was better than anything I could imagine. But so is you, still being alive. I wouldn't be here without you. Neither would Aricia. We're going to do this together. After the raw emotions, comforting has come to an end. Aricia leaves to help Kilowog with the defenses as she promised she would. I know this might be a bad time, Ganthit, but I need to know. We need to be prepared. Why all the secrecy with Parallax? What happened?
No, you're right. I must tell you the truth.
Waving his hands over the sky, he uses the stars as a visual to aid the story.
There was a time, millions of years ago, where the emotions of the universe lived and operated in unison. Each one was an equal. Each one served a purpose. The time came where the universe was changing. Civilizations sprouted on countless planets, and chaos would soon follow. Not every species can be governed on their own. Many need help. We, the Guardians, decided to create a corps, a militia if you will, based around a particular lantern, a specific emotion. We discussed over a long period of time which power would be best suited for that. Willpower was our choice. All other creatures for the different emotions were to be encased in the containers we call batteries, and placed in safekeeping on other planets. However, the entities of all emotions, except for Ion, left. They denied our protection and disappeared. We do not know if they have departed our reality or remain hidden in areas and ways we cannot see. But Parallax stayed. Angry and frustrated with our decision to choose willpower over fear, it put a damper on our plan to create a Green Lantern Corps. A member in our order, Kilala, who was already thousands of years older than me when I joined the Guardians. She brought such beauty, not just in appearance, but in her emotion. Preservation of life was her goal, and the protection of the unprotected was her mission. That all changed when Parallax changed her. A completely different Guardian from what I knew her to be. Parallax twisted her mind and made her a tyrant. That is when the serpent finally infused himself with her, creating a near unstoppable force. The result was many dead. Owens from my homeworld and many Guardians who I viewed as brothers and sisters perished. I eventually found a brief weak point, something that wouldn't last long and had a low chance of success. Although we were out of options, we needed to try anything. I spoke the truth. I called out to her, "My love, come back to me." We conversed for a short period, and even though I knew she was still in there, Parallax would never let her go. So I killed her. As she dropped and laid in my arms, the other Guardians used all their strength to pull Parallax from her body and placed him in his prison. As they forced him into a yellow battery, he screamed out the monstrous things he would do when he would one day return. I barely translated any of it, however. Kilala stared at me as she took her last breath. She placed her hand on my cheek one last time, as if she was consoling me. She knew what I did was beyond difficult, but it was the right choice. I dissipated her body so her spirit could be with our fallen Owens. Parallax was placed deep beneath the surface of Korugar, and now we're here.
Ganthit, I had no idea. Ganthit wipes the tears from his eyes and approaches Kal, almost staring daggers into his soul.
What's done is done, Kal. Do not feel sorry for me. The Guardian's poor choices are not your burden. What we can do now is important. I locked my emotions down for far too long when Kalala died. When you arrived on Oa, seeing the man you have become today, it awoken something in me. You reminded me to believe and to take chances. You reminded me there's always something more, something better. Parallax will return, and when he does, he will be with a new host, I am certain of that. Whenever it is, we must be ready. Our future depends on it.
Feet stomping against the ground is heard everywhere. Cheering has begun in the streets. Men and women are heard chanting. High above a crowd of thousands is a man with a black cape and an outlook, overlooking his city, his arms high in the air as if there is something to celebrate.
All hail Zod! All hail Zod! All hail Zod! All hail Zod!
General Zod, the Kryptonian who made it to Earth, has completed his domination over this world. It was never about war. He won very early on. It was about building a new Krypton over the entire planet and indoctrinating the population. Krypton lives, albeit in a different part of the universe, and in Zod's specific views. Zod turns away from the crowd and walks into the building. The chanting stops, but the cheering continues. The other 15 Kryptonians that survived the Phantom Zone with Zod are inside feasting and celebrating. It's loud and exciting, and whereas that makes Zod happy, his work is never done. He makes his way into a room with a holographic galaxy map. Spinning it around and zooming in on different locations, he seems to be deciding on something important.
Are you not going to come and enjoy the festivities?
I am enjoying, although I will be happier when we find a new world to conquer.
There are many worlds with civilizations we could control around the neighboring stars.
Indeed, the sun has become our ally. Our military is worldwide, and our infantry ships are ready for space travel. Any world with a yellow star could be ours.
Then what seems to be the problem?
Zod swipes through multiple holographic screens and clicks on classified files, popping up a 3D model render of the Green Lanterns that were sent to Earth years ago, in which Zod and the other Kryptonians killed.
These beings fascinate me. After we killed them, the power rings on their fingers avoided us and flew away as quickly as possible. I have forever been intrigued as to what additional power it could grant us if we had this technology. I want to know where they come from. Their power could benefit us. It could benefit New Krypton.
Later that night, Zod rests in his private quarters with a glass of wine, looking up and out across the stars, wondering where his next conquest will take him.
I will find what I'm looking for, even if it takes me multiple lifetimes.
As Zod says that, he notices a star twinkle and move. He slightly tilts his head and continues to follow it. The star is oddly getting closer and moving quick. It seems to already be past Earth's atmosphere. Dropping his glass and preparing to fly up and discover what's flying down, within a split second, the star-shaped thing is already in front of Zod. Zod is in shock and awe as he is eye to eye with the yellow entity, Parallax.
What are you?
Parallax immediately imbues itself with Zod, screaming and shouting with a powerful yet delightful pain. He falls over unconscious. Moments later, he wakes up and gasps for air. Smiling with an evil grin from ear to ear, Parallax has found his new host.